first-place position.
In the NFC wildcard race, the Eagles lead the pack at 7-3. Then Chicago and Green Bay from the Lions division at 6-4, and Atlanta at 5-5. The Lions will have to pass 3 of those teams to get a wildcard berth. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick along with Joe Theismann. It's great to have you with us. The Bucs come in only 2-7 on the year, but one of those wins was over Detroit, 24-14 in October. In fact, the Lions are one of only 2 teams in the entire NFL to have an all-time losing record against Tampa Bay. Joe, a couple of weeks ago, Sam Weiss gave the quarterback job to Trent Dilfer, but he has a rib injury now, so Craig Erickson, who engineered that first win, is back in there.
Well, you know, Mike, in that first meeting, Craig Erickson was a real stabilizing force. He didn't commit any turnovers, and he led them to 3 scoring drives. Dilford may be their quarterback of the future, but Erickson gives them the best chance to win tonight. Now, the special teams and defense also contributed a lot in that victory. They blocked a punt, they returned 1 for a touchdown. Defense caused a turnover. They need the same kind of effort this evening if they hope to beat the Lions and sweep them this year.
And for the Lions, it's a critical game. They can ill afford to lose. Detroit is already without Scott Mitchell, who is out for the year with a broken bone in his wrist. But Dave Krieg came off the bench last week, and in the second half threw for more yards in that half than Scott Mitchell had in any of his starts this year. And the consensus around here seems to be that Dave Krieg can light a fire into this offense.
Oh, yeah. All he has to do is switch the match and light that fire, because he's got 2 dangerous weapons and big play people. At wide receiver, he's got Herman Moore, big guy, great hands, good speed, and just happens to lead the National Football League coming into today with 7 receptions for touchdowns. Now, the other guy, what can I say? Barry Sanders, the amazing Barry Sanders, leads the National Football League in rushing and has had great nights against the Buccaneers. David Krieg, all he has to do, get the ball to Herman Moore, get the ball to Barry Sanders, don't commit the turnover. Lions got a real good shot at winning this one.
And Tampa Bay's defensive focus will, of course, be Barry Sanders. Mark Malone has more on that. Mark?
Well, Mike, as you can well imagine, anyone given the sole responsibility of stopping Barry Sanders is a prime candidate for our Sunday night spotlight. Tampa Bay will be relying heavily on all-pro middle linebacker Hardy Nickerson to keep Sanders from running away with this contest tonight. Now, the Bucs defense is designed specifically to keep Nickerson free and allow him to make some tackles. Our spotlight camera will be on him every step of the way, and then I'll come back and show you some video updates. We'll have the hits, the misses, and the reasons why Nickerson is or is not having an effect on Barry Sanders. Mike?
All right, Mark, and Sam Weiss certainly hopes he will. He has had little success in Tampa Bay. He received a 5-year contract to turn the franchise around, but with the club for sale, he may not get the chance. Wayne Fonts in his 6th full year, under 500 for his coaching career, but he has won the NFC Central title 2 of the last 3 seasons. Jason Hansen has it teed up at the 35. Look at the difference because of the rule changes. He was one of the best in the NFL last year, 46 touchbacks, led the league. But now he's going to have to kick it to Vernon Turner, who is 8th in the NFC in kickoff returns, and we are underway. Taken by Turner. Out to the 23. Look at the Buccaneers offense. Craig Erickson gets the start with Dilfer's injury. He has the best interception rate in the league and is the number 4 rated passer. Rookie Errict Rhett, the team's leading rusher, is a backup tonight. He gets the 2nd start of his career. Paul Gruber is the Bucs franchise player, one of the best linemen in the game. He rarely gives up a sack. He is rarely penalized. Rhett, the deep man. And Erickson, play action. First play. Throws complete. Should be a first down. Ty J. Armstrong, the tight end. Take a look at the Lions defense. They have only 4 healthy linemen, and Kelvin Pritchett, the only one of the regulars who will play tonight. Chris Spielman has led Detroit in tackles every season of his career. He already has 107 this year. And Benny Blade stays on the field despite multiple injuries. The former Pro Bowler is a wicked hitter. Play action again from Erickson. Goes for the bomb.
Mike, they wanted to go at Milton Mack. He felt he has a history that if you go up top on him early, you can loosen up underneath. They were doing it to just try and loosen him up. He's peeking in. Copeland goes right by him, puts his hands up. This ball's laid out. It's a touchdown. Still does an excellent job as a receiver. Make sure you make the catch and then run with the football.
Copeland is their deep threat, and Milton Mack, the ex-Buccaneer, beaten on the play. Errict Rhett. Nothing as the Lions swarm over him.
Sam Weiss is opening this game exactly what he wanted. He's got his 20 plays. The first two have been scripted exactly the way he wants it. This one here was part of his goal line. That's exactly the way he wants it. He's 3 out of the 20 so far, Mike.
Inside the 20, the Bucs are one of the worst in the NFL. They just can't get it done, and to top it off, they don't get down here very often. Erickson sidearms it incomplete into the end zone, threw the ball into a crowd intended for Harold Bishop, the rookie tight end, but Willie Clay got a hand on it.
Boy, he got lucky on that one. He makes a throw late to the left. It should have been picked off. Play action inside. Okay. Now you come out. If you don't have it, don't keep drifting. And don't, heavens, throw that back. There's too many people coming across. Almost making the play. Broderick Thomas almost gets there. Chris Spielman almost gets there.
For some short yardage situations, they missed Jackie Harris, their tight end, who's out for this game. 3rd and goal. Erickson throws again, tipped incomplete, intended for McDowell, and it was Broderick Thomas, another former Buck, who got a hand on him. That will bring in the field goal team.
You know, the one thing I don't see down around the goal line for the Bucs, Mike, is I don't see crispness of routes. I see the quarterback dropping back. Look, he drops back with a little bit of tentativeness, and then it's just not fired. I mean, he doesn't wait for people to clear and go place. Look at the crowd. Dorsey, Rhett, they all run into one another. Right in our picture, you've got the entire receiving corps. Nobody's really open anywhere.
Michael Husted with a chip shot. Hasn't missed inside the 40 since the first game of his rookie year, and he nails that one through. And the Bucs, on the strength of a 64-yard Erickson to Copeland pass, break on top 3-0.
Who's picking up the new president?
Peterson.
What does he drive?
A Volkswagen Passat.
A Volkswagen.
Oh, it's big.
Is Peterson picking the president up in a Volkswagen?
Pull over.
Is there a problem, Miss Sullivan?
With ABS, traction control, and a high-performance VR6 engine.
But the office is straight ahead.
Oh, we can be a little late.
The new...
Lamar Leachman, the defensive line coach, talking to his guys up front, Pritchard, Owens, trying to explain what they saw, what they did. His guys did a good job up front. Put good pressure on Craig Erickson. He's talking to the booth upstairs saying, what did you see? What should I have done? What could I have done? Now he'll shake his head and say, yep, and put it down.
Husted with a big leg. Mel Gray will bring it out. He's been bothered by a sprained back all week. It certainly doesn't show. And one of the best to ever play the game brings it out near the 40, but there's a flag down back at the 15. And that great return will come back.
See, that's what happens when your team's struggling. Coaches can't get their hats on right. They just sort of get them crooked coming out.
Holding 57 Detroit during the return. After distance to the goal, first down.
That's Victor Jones, and you see his reaction to the call.
Curtis Buckley, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, big gun downfield. I wasn't holding, I was clipping.
That was choking.
I was choking.
15 for choking. So the Lions starting a big hole. Lynch, the up back for Sanders. Barry on the draw. Maybe a half yard. For offense for the Lions, Dave Krieg came off the bench last week, nearly pulled off a miracle comeback. With his experience, he could thrive as a starter. Barry Sanders has gone over 1,000 yards every year in the NFL. He leads the league in rushing this year with 7 100 games and 9 starts. Columbus Brown had an off year for him in '93, still made his 4th straight Pro Bowl. He is a great pass blocker at left tackle. Second, call it 9. Good protection for Krieg and a little high. Intended for Aubrey Matthews. Let's look at the Buccaneer defense. Santana Dotson faces almost constant double teams. His next sack will move him up to 5th on the Bucs all-time list. Hardy Nickerson, the heart of the defense, led the club in tackles in 21 of 23 games. The Bucs traded with Dallas for Thomas Everett and his big play talents. He was a Pro Bowl selection last season. Gives him a big hitter in the secondary. 3rd and 9 for Detroit, opening possession for the Lions. Herman Moore, the favorite target, and a great 3rd down receiver. Krieg with good blocking. Throws intended for Moore, couldn't hold it at the 15.
That's a nice job by the Bucs defense. They played right into the hands of the Lions. They stopped Barry Sanders on 1st and 10. They forced him to throw out of the hole. They put their nickel backs in. Moore's looking at the defense. Now he just slides down under. He gets grabbed a little bit going by, but it doesn't matter. It's too far in front of him.
Greg Montgomery, who led the league a year ago and has a crisp 44.4-yard average, will kick to Turner, who had the Bucs' only punt return for a touchdown in the history of the franchise against these same Lions earlier this year. From the 42, and Turner nearly breaks this one, gets back to midfield. Return of 7 after a punt of 49. Van Malone made the tackle. We'll be back to Detroit in a minute.
Have you had an accident? Are you
one of the members and a spokesman for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Trust that was formed after the death of Hugh Culverhouse? First they announced the team would not be put up for sale. Now they say it is up for sale, presumably to the highest bidder. The Trust would like to keep the team in Tampa. However, they have a legal responsibility to act in the best interest of the Culverhouse Trust. They want an owner in before next year so he can prepare for it, but suits by family members may really complicate this entire affair. Rhett and McDowell, the backs behind Erickson. Rhett on the toss. And swarmed by the Lions. Michael Johnson, the former Brown, to make the tackle.
You know, Mike, you talk about off-field distractions creating problems for your football team. Sam Weiss had to spend all week, had to cut down his game plan because they couldn't prepare because the players kept coming in and talking to him about, say, hey, Coach, what's going on? We'd like to know what's going on. So he spent the week really being a counselor more than a coach. So he had to cut down his game plan and his preparation for this game.
Well, you have to think about the fact that these guys live in a place they like, and they may have to move because of the result of the sale. 2nd and 12 after a loss of 2. Erickson intended at the sideline for Courtney Hawkins, but the pass behind him.
It's got to be a very unsettling situation for Craig Erickson because you see Trent Dilfer come in. You know you're not going to play. You know they don't want you to play. You know they're doing everything they can to get you not to play. And really to stay focused mentally as he has, and talking to him last night, he still has everything under control, is a credit to him. It's just that his timing's on.
And he has played very well. He has some sparkling numbers facing 3rd and long here. No pressure. Erickson with time, throws complete to the 37-yard line. Courtney Hawkins, the intended receiver again. This time he grabbed it. And Hawkins is the go-to guy. Gain of 16 on 3rd and 12. They go to the hurry-up offense. Out in the flat, Dawsey makes the catch, banged out of bounds by Milton Mack at the 34. Of course, this was the hallmark of Sam Weiss's Cincinnati offense.
And what he's going to do is after a big play, he wants to get up and get everybody lined up and go quick. So we'll probably see it through the evening, provided the Bucs can gain the big plays.
I sort of wonder why more coaches don't do the kind of things that Sam Weiss does, trying to take advantage of timing. Is it just too disruptive?
Well, Mike, I think if you look at Sam's record, it might, people might say, well, that's not the way to win football games. Because really, if he wins football games, everybody copies it. But when you're not winning, people stay away from what you do.
But I don't think that's what loses ball games. I think that gives him an advantage.
You're right. Perception, though, is reality.
Absolutely. 2nd and 7. Vince Workman checks into the backfield, number 46. And Workman will get it on the draw. Fumble! And it bounced right back into his hands. A break for Tampa Bay. Workman down to the 32-yard line, covered by Spielman. Nobody hit him. He just dropped it.
Looks like it's a clean handoff. I mean, the job of the quarterback is to get the ball in the belly. He comes back, he plants it, it's in his stomach, he's got the football, now he just drops it. It just falls out. Just flat fell out.
Ty J. Armstrong comes in at the tight end. He's set to the right, McDowell to the left, Rhett is deep. Again, good protection, but Armstrong can't hold the pass. Jackie Harris, of course, came in as their leading receiver. 26 catches, 337 yards. Did not even make this trip because of a shoulder injury, and they dearly miss him.
That was a case where Craig Erickson just fired the ball too hard. When a guy is that close to you, 6-7 yards over the line of scrimmage, you have to put it someplace where he can make a play on it. People would argue and say he's got to make those tough catches, but I think the quarterback can make it easy on him too.
Husted will try from 49. He is 10 of 16 this year, but all the misses have been long ones. Plenty of leg, but it's wide. So the Detroit defense stands tall again. Still 3-0 Tampa Bay.
Who's picking up the new...
Welcome back to the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. The Buccaneers lead the Lions 3-0. Detroit with its second possession of the game, starting just shy of its own 40. Trent Dilfer, the first-round draft choice of the Bucs, out with a rib injury, but he is certainly into the ball game. A young man who does not lack confidence and wants to be in there regardless. Two tight end offense. Krieg, play action, and unloads. Perriman. And it hit Timmery right in the back of the helmet. He never turned around, never saw the ball, and still made the play.
Well, you can either say there was a heck of a throw by David Krieg to hit him in the top of the head, or the ball was a little bit underthrown. I would lend to think that it's a little underthrown. David Krieg just doesn't have the gun that he used to have. This ball had to travel 60-some yards in the air. He puts everything into it, and it's just hanging. Perriman's got it, but he can't quite come back to get it. David knows he had an opportunity.
2nd and 10. Barry only gets a couple, and they're doing what they have to do.
Buccaneers doing a good job to try and shut down Barry Sanders because he really just travels all over. There he is, you see, behind the center. Now, he'll start to the left. That's the point of attack. He might bounce it outside. He might come back and take it up the middle. Then again, if you start to the left, he may come all the way back. Up front, they're going to zone block. They don't want a man block because they don't want to let anybody get any penetration. The backside will seal on the right. He cuts it all the way back to him, breaks one tackle. This was an 85-yard touchdown earlier in the year against the Bucs.
3rd and 8 for Dave Krieg. Steps up, goes complete. It's a first down at the 35, Aubrey Matthews, and a great throw by Krieg, a gain of 23.
Excellent job of protection, giving him a chance to look up the field, step forward, and fire it. Left part of your screen. See that good protection? They try and run a twist. He gets nice protection, steps into the hole. Matthews does a good job of finding the soft area in the zone.
The Bucs defense with only 8 sacks all year. Sanders. Covington came up from the secondary and made the sure tackle.
That's one of the rare times you're going to see somebody tattoo Barry Sanders head on. He really doesn't let people hit him. I think that's a key to his durability. Right up the gut, coming right into your living room. Takes the draw, they come on up. Now watch Covington. He just squares up on him. He doesn't take too many hits like that. Floyd Peters, the defensive coordinator. You know, it's interesting. I was talking to him earlier today, Mike, and he said, you know, in our games, we can hold Barry Sanders to about 2.5 yards per carry for about 20 carries. And then something will happen like it did the last time we played him. He'll break an 85-yarder. He said you have to be every play very conscious to try and wrap him up and get a hand on him.
Joe, when you talk to other players around the league and ask them if Barry Sanders is the best, almost always the answer is yes.
Oh, absolutely. I think he is the best
there's no
runner
hesitation,
in football.
too. We've got an injury on the field. We'll check it out for you when we come back. Still 3-0 Tampa Bay.
Don't miss the Detroit Lions.
In our Sunday night spotlight. For more on that, here's Mark Malone.
Well, Mike, we told you this would be a great matchup. Hardy Nickerson uses his speed to diagnose plays, but oftentimes he gets beat that way. Here's the first play of the game. He gets to the play, but then gets pushed in the back by Bowens. That's a whip right there. Later in this drive, right here, he gets into the hole, but lets Lynch, the fullback, put the lead block on him, and he gets up inside. So far, Hardy getting the worst of this matchup. Mike?
All right, Mark, and interesting last night when he was talking about how he moved slower playing Barry Sanders. He just can't sprint to a spot anymore because Barry might not be there. 2nd and 6. Sanders on the sweep. And dives forward. There's a flag down on the play. Santana Dotson and Marty Carter combined on the tackle.
Yeah, but Eric Curry made that play at the defensive end position. He cut across the line and forced Barry back inside so he gets some help from his teammates.
And Curry, a guy they've been very disappointed in, but he's been playing with a deep thigh bruise and almost literally dragging one leg behind him.
Offense, 10 yards, still 2nd down.
Let's go back to Mark for more on Hardy Nickerson.
Well, Mike, here are the early numbers right now on Nickerson. So far, they have run the ball 7 times. Barry Sanders carrying 3. Hardy Nickerson only no tackles, 1 miss. He's been blocked 2 times. Mike?
Well, you know that won't last. Hardy Nickerson is a great linebacker. After the penalty, 2nd and 16 for David Krieg. There's another one out. Intended for Perriman. Covered well by Covington. Dimry also in the area.
Tough throw to squeeze in. You've got the corner laying all the way back. You've got the safety. Really doesn't have to try and get very deep because he has help in the middle of the field. So Dave Krieg has to throw a 20-yard pass and drop it into about a 7-yard area.
Krieg only 1 out of 5 so far, 23 yards. But we saw him so many times in Seattle. When he gets hot, he's as good as anybody. And look at the yardage in the second half last week, 273. That's a Lions record coming off the bench. 3rd and long, 3-man rush. Good protection for Krieg. There's it out for Matthews, but again, excellent coverage. Everett was the deep man, simply wouldn't let Aubrey Matthews behind him.
You know, I think the Lions have really not developed a game plan tonight. They're throwing the ball 15, 20 yards down the field. They're sort of giving up on Barry Sanders. They're coming out and putting themselves in 2nd down and longs. So you're taking yourself out of your game plan with Barry. They're hurting themselves more than the Bucs are.
Turner and Hawkins will go deep for Montgomery's punt. Tries to get it as high as he can, but it makes the end zone. Punt of 41, but a net of only 21 as it will come out to the 20-yard line. Hope you'll be with us Sunday at noon Eastern. That's when we have NFL Game Day. Chris, Tom, Chris Mortensen, and Phil Simms provide the most comprehensive pregame show in the league. Then at 7 o'clock, back for prime time. All the highlights of all the games. And then at 8 o'clock, Joe and I will be at Candlestick Park for an NFC West game, the Rams and the 49ers, as Jerome Bettis meets the all-time touchdown leader in the NFL, Jerry Rice. And Steve Young certainly got, I think, a fictitious monkey off his back today. Guy can play in any game, big, small, medium. Rhett. Nice hole for Errict Rhett, the rookie out of Florida, up to the 31 for a first down. Bucs.
Oh, Mike, that's the big problem for the Detroit Lions. It's their defensive line. Robert Porcher is hurt. Different people up front are hurt. Pritchard's playing nicked. Big thing for Wayne Fontes. He almost felt like 7 of his starters might not play simply because of injury. They haven't put a lot of pressure up front anyway, but now they're hurt.
Only one starter up there. That's Pritchard. And Pritchett jumped. Flags down everywhere. Let's see if he was drawn.
Uh-oh. This is scary. A discussion, a conference, yep. Sam waiting anxiously. Wayne waiting anxiously. The officials discussing calmly.
Pritchard's getting in his 2 cents worth.
I think what they're trying to figure out is whether he was pulled offside or whether he came. Ty J. Armstrong. See him up the top of your screen? Right there. See him moving around? That's what everybody's checking. But the movement on the defensive side came away from him. So that's probably what they're discussing. And I got to be honest with you. This ain't that hard a discussion to come up with an answer for. They spent an awful long time there discussing it.
They're not done yet.
Encroachment, number 94 defense, 5 yards, still first down.
I think it's the right call because the movement or supposed movement was away from where he moved.
The other thing it might have been, Erickson is a master of cadence. In the past, he's used a tape recorder to make sure his voice is the same in all cadences, try to draw people offside. Rhett. Got a big push up front. And running behind the left side, of course, you got Paul Gruber over there and Charles McCray at left guard.
They need McCray to play well, and Gruber always will play well for you. There they are, over on the left side right there. They're going to get that big push up through here and give the opportunity for Rhett to fire out. There's the hole. He's got a little bubble. Now he just follows his blockers very well.
1st and 10 for the Bucs. They lead at 3-0. Rhett again. Excellent running room up the middle. He's out to the 49-yard line. Errict Rhett is not a burner. He's not a guy who's going to go 90 yards for you, but he is a very good player and came out of a very complex system that Steve Spurrier ran in Florida. He's got to be one of the most well-prepared rookies you'll find.
Couldn't agree with you more, Mike. I think that's the thing that gives him an advantage over a lot of rookies. He came out of a system that got him ready to play professional football.
2nd and 4. Rhett with 21 yards rushing so far first quarter in his 2nd career start. We got another crack. Cuts it back a little bit into Detroit territory. Has another first down at the 46-yard line.
See, this is where I think that the defense of the Detroit Lions has now taken a look at what Tampa Bay wants to do. They want to pound it at the middle. It's a 3-4 difference. Mayberry knocks the nose off the ball. Number 90 is Owens. He gets pushed off. He gets pushed back further. I think Detroit's going to have to start committing some blitzings to stop the run.
And Owens does not like to play the nose. Feels he's a lot better outside. Mazio Royster checks into the backfield. He's number 30. And Royster will get the carry. Turner. And now there's a flag down as Turner gets caught at the line of scrimmage.
And they're going to call holding. I mean, Tampa Bay is pounding it between the tackles, Now they're going to come up 1st and 20 by trying to go wide.
Tougher to run wide against that 34, especially after you've had that great success going up the middle.
I'm a firm believer in wearing it out. Just keep on doing it, make them stop you.
86, Tampa Bay, 10 yards, still first down.
Ty J. Armstrong, a third-year tight end out of Mississippi, who incidentally has been tossed out of 2 of the last 3 for fighting.
Got Nick for $2,500 last week, along with Gruber for $8,000 and Ian Beckles for $5,000.
1st and 20. Play action and a screen to McDowell. Johnson did a tremendous job avoiding a couple of blocks. Michael Johnson out of Virginia Tech, the former Cleveland Brown, played it beautifully.
This confuses me. You run play action, you run it, watch out here. Mike Johnson is going to get out over there and make the play. But you run play action here, and then you screen out that side. What you want to do on pass plays is you want those linebackers to get out of there. If you run a draw, you hold them closer to the line, and then you throw a screen, which sort of defeats the purpose of what you're trying to do.
2nd and 14. Erickson changing the play. Draw play, Rhett. Again, the middle has been very vulnerable down near the 43-yard line for Errict Rhett. Chris Spielman and Broderick Thomas were there for the stop. That was a gain of 8. Rhett, 7 carries, 34 yards so far as we work down toward a minute left in the first period. Very quiet here in the Silverdome right now. About 35,000 empty seats. And Erickson has to call a timeout.
That's a real break for the Detroit Lions, Mike. Defensively, you see all these guys going down on a knee, taking a break. They're tired up front. I mean, that's what happens to defensive guys. You pound them and pound them. You see Kelvin Pritchard now taking a knee. That wears on you a little bit.
There was so much hope, Joe, for both of these ball clubs going into the season. Tampa Bay thought they were ready to compete. The Lions, of course, are coming off of an NFC Central championship, their 2nd in 3 years. But the Bucs are back to their old habits. They're 2-7, and Detroit now at 4-5. You would think they would have to win this game.
They would, Mike, but I think the reason why both these teams have struggled is they haven't been able to really do this. That's run the football. Take a look at the numbers. 5 times right up the middle, 37 yards. That's where they're running the football. That's exactly where Errict Rhett is gone. That's where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers want to pound away. Part of the problem, though, is when you've got 2 basically rookie quarterbacks. In Tampa Bay, you're trying to bring a rookie along in Trent Dilfer. In Detroit, you've gone out and paid a lot of money to Scott Mitchell, so you're trying to bring him along. The man who's in charge of the defense, Herb Patera. He's got to commit some of those linebackers to help out up front. He can't just sit in his 3-4 defense.
It's 3rd and 7 here, and Detroit showing blitz. And here they come. Jailbreak, and Erickson goes down. The man who will get the sack is Dan Owens, but Michael Johnson was the man who made him duck, and they really came that time. You said commit the linebackers. Looked like it committed everybody.
Well, you know, 3rd and 7, he guessed right. He said that the Bucs are going to throw, and that's what he did. What he did, he loaded up the middle. The one area where they were pounding away. Look at the middle. Here comes Johnson. Here comes Spielman. They don't have enough people to block. Swilling's coming from the outside, and Owens winds up with the sack.
It's a loss of 12, and Straczynski will punt to Mel Gray. The Bucs have given up only 27 punt return yards all year. Straczynski has been great at making people do just that. Signal for the fair catch. Gray does it at the 15. A punt of 39. You know, punters, everybody likes to talk about stats. Straczynski's stats, he's only averaging 38.9. But if you never run one back, he's done a great job.
I think what's become a more valuable statistic for punters in today's game of football, particularly this year, is how many times you can pin the opponent back deep, because people just don't take 85 and 90-yard drives.
He is a very valuable kicker for this ball club.
And there's George Stewart, who's done a terrific job with the Buccaneers as their special teams coach.
Ron Hall and Ty Halleck in there in the two tight end offense. Let's see if they go back to Barry Sanders. And they do. And Culpepper slowed him up in the backfield, and then Sanders goes down. That is the end of the first quarter in Pontiac, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lead the Detroit Lions 3-0. Scott Mitchell is out for the year now with a broken bone in his wrist. A lot of people were speculating, Joe, this was a move that the Lions might have made anyway.
I think so, Mike. I definitely agree. Scott was struggling. He was losing confidence. I think the team was losing confidence in him. This is a good break for him. He gets a chance to evaluate where he is and what he has to do. I had a chance to visit with him at Friday's practice, and he said the one thing that he couldn't believe was the amount of scrutiny that a starting quarterback comes under in the National Football League. This is a guy who really hadn't experienced it in Miami and didn't get it in that short stint that he started, but boy, he's gotten it up here.
Tremendous amount of pressure because of free agency and all those dollars. Lions face a 2nd and 11 at their 14. Sanders on the draw. Drags Santana Dotson with him up to about the 19-yard line. And the Bucs have done a superb job. Chidi Ahanatu was the first man to hit him.
That's the big thing about defensing a runner like a Barry Sanders, a guy who really is not a point-of-attack runner. And what we mean by point of attack is if he's supposed to run at the right tackle, that's the point of attack. He starts there quite often and can go anywhere. And the Bucs have not rushed. They've been patient.
3rd and 6. Krieg pumps 3 times, flag, and they'll blow the play dead. He appeared to be looking for Johnny Morton, his rookie, over the middle, but there was a lot of traffic in there. And the play wouldn't have counted anyway.
There is no play. False start. Number 89 offense, abrupt movement prior to the snap. Still 3rd down.
As Ron Hall, the tight end, number 89, moved abruptly. Not casually, not incidentally, but abruptly.
That's 4 penalties on the line for 28 yards. 3rd and 11 now. Morton in the slot to the near side. Three-man rush. Time for Krieg over the middle of Hall. The former Buck gets it up to the 28-yard line. He's got a first down. The 7th catch of the year for Ron Hall. That's 14 yards.
Watch what a veteran David Krieg is, Mike. David Krieg is going to look out to the right. See his helmet. Focus on his helmet. See him look right, look right, look right. Now he comes back to the last minute and fires the ball to Ron Hall. What a terrific job. Look how he's looking out here. He's not looking at Ron Hall. He's not looking at Ron Hall. Up. There you are, Ron. Here's the ball. What a great job of using your vision.
Sanders on the toss, trying to cut back. No room. And it's brought down as he crosses the 30 for about 2.5 yards. If you're a defensive player, you simply have to be on pins and needles anytime he touches the ball.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, David Krieg also gives him a lot of veteran leadership back there. He knows how to work a defense. He knows how to find second receivers. He knows how to look away from a primary receiver and then come back to him. Movements, voice inflections, where you look, all a part of the position of quarterback.
2nd and 8. Trips wide receivers, and now Morton comes back in motion. Krieg under pressure. Sidearms it complete to Sanders. and Barry Sanders to the 47. What a great throw by Krieg, who was just ready to get drilled.
What a great job by Sanders getting out into an area where he's in his vision. Both of them deserve a lot of credit. Barry Sanders going to sneak out to the left. Now David sees him and just flips at the last second, feels the pressure. Now Barry turns the jets on. David feels that pressure coming, knows exactly where his outlet receiver is, dumps it off.
Sanders is an excellent receiver. They had just never thrown to him very much. And he draws the crowd where we go. Play action by Krieg. Sidearms it again. This one's incomplete, intended for Morton. And there is another flag down, and that looked like a hold. And talking to Hardy Nickerson.
Holding, number 66 offense. 10 yards, still first down.
Sean Bowen's number 66 on Santana Dotson, who's playing inside. He moves, gets a hand into him, does a good job. But see how Dotson got that right hand on his shoulder pad, locked him up? All he could do was grab him to try and keep him away from David Krieg.
Santana Dotson with only 1 sack this year, but he's been double teamed an awful lot. First and 20 after the flag, the 5th penalty on the line. Krieg now being chased. Got a good block and slides in safely at the 39-yard line. Gain of about 4.
What a great job by Lomas Brown, the left tackle. You talk about a guy giving extra effort. He makes the initial block. He makes the initial block. All right, he's doing a good job. He's sealing down, sealing down. Now he feels David move. He stays with his guys. He goes after Curry. He winds up taking Curry and Dotson down.
In his 10th year, the Pro Bowl left tackle. Morton comes in as the 3rd wide receiver on 2nd and 18. Draw to Sanders. Room this time. And Barry into Buccaneer territory to the 46. Tony Covington and Charles Dimry finally brought him down.
You know, that's what you do. You get a tight end in the game. You get 3 wide receivers. You spread the defense out, and then you let Barry pick and choose. Watch what he does here. He's just going to pick and choose. Good job. Bowens helps on the center. Then he seals on the linebacker. Now you get him into the open field. You make Covington try and make a play. You know he's going to make one guy at least miss.
7 carries, 28 yards for Sanders, who has had 7 100-yard games this year and leads the NFL in rushing. Scott Conover is in at the tackle spot for Lomas Brown on 3rd and short. And Krieg throws incomplete, intended for Perriman, and Dimry was all over him at the corner. Nice defensive play by Charles Dimry.
David thought he had what he wanted. He had the 5-yard hitch. They were just going to pick up the first down. Dimry waited, settled, and broke on it.
And Montgomery will come in to punt on 4th and 3. They'll send Vernon Turner and Courtney Hawkins back to the 10.
This is where your punter has got to pin him back. He can't just kick it in the end zone.
He did the last time he was in this situation. And this one hits and goes in again. But Montgomery could have used some help from his special teams on that one. No one got down to trap it after a punt of 47.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today. By Cadillac and your Cadillac dealer, creating a higher standard. And by Red Roof Inns. Hit the roof. Call 1-800-THE-ROOF.
After the touchback, the Bucs will have it at the 20, leading 3-0 with 10:03 to go first half. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, Mark Malone with you from the Silverdome in Pontiac. Errict Rhett. And again, right back to the ground game, and Rhett breaking tackles to the 34, where Willie Clay out of Georgia Tech finally made the stop.
Well, Sam Weiss told us last night, he said, every game that we have run the ball well in, we have won. course, it's only been 2, but that's what they did. They do a nice job on the right side. Right here, they're going to get a block here, a block here. He's just going to take it right through there. Good seal, good double team. He comes right off the tail of the double team.
Rhett goes right back to work. Johnston drags him down as he got to the 39-yard line. And Paul Gruber was saying last night, if you don't make a commitment to the run, you never are able to run. And they made a commitment at certain times this year, and obviously they've done it tonight.
A lot of times coaches have a tendency to get away from it. But right now, Tampa Bay is setting up one heck of a bootleg by doing this, running the ball up the middle, running the ball up the middle. If they want, it should be wide open if they decide to run it.
And this is a team that is 27th in the NFL in rushing. Here comes the blitz. Erickson still with time and throwing for Copeland. He made the catch. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch. The ball came loose, but after he was down, first down at the 32. Great blocking by the line to pick up the blitz.
Nice job by Craig Erickson holding his cadence long enough so that his line could see it. You'll notice Blades came up to the line of scrimmage. Erickson was patient. He waited, let his line see it, then he went ahead. That was a good job by the quarterback and the line working together.
Bucs go with the hurry up. Two tight ends. Moore tracks down from the inside, and Rhett just bangs his way up the middle, down to the 26.
There's the last play, Michael. Coming at you. Here, the blitz is going to come from this side as well. What he does is he does a nice job of waiting, letting everybody see what's going on, and then he sets in the pocket. They do a good job of sealing. Everybody's got a body. Body on a body, slide the protection. Nice high arcing throw, which allows Copeland to make a play.
2nd and 4, and they have really exploited the middle of the Lions defense. And Rhett is at it again and diving forward to about the 23-yard line. That'll be close to a first down.
Mike, the Lions can't do that. They cannot defensively just sit in that 3-4 and let the Tampa Bay Buccaneers grind out not 2 yards, 6, 7, 8 yards on every carry.
Do you run blitz out of that formation?
You've either got to move your defensive lineman down and bring your 2 outside guys to make it a 5-man rush style attack, or move them over and go to an even front.
It is a 1st and 10 for the Bucs. Rhett again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Rhett cracks over the middle. Michael Johnson makes another tackle.
It's a good job by the Tampa Bay line. Gruber at left tackle, Dill at left guard, Mayberry at center, Bickles at right guard. Watch this job here. Watch the job they do. They seal this over here. Gruber stays with it. He's going to take it and cut it back on the outside. Rhett does a nice job of seeing everything. See how they seal it all down, and he comes back the other side of Gruber.
Vince Workman checks in. And Workman will get the call. Spielman stands him up at the 15. Just the opportunity to watch Spielman and Hardy Nickerson in a football game. 2 of the superb linebackers in this game. And Spielman, #1 on this team in tackles ever since he came here. He is a great studier of football, someone who loves football. He and Nickerson have so many things in common, and what a joy they are just to see on a football field. Third and 2. Rhett back in at tailback. Rhett will get the carry. And very close to another first down, tripped up by Dan Owens, the nose tackle. And where they spotted it will be a first down.
Hey, for a young player, Errict Rhett has a wonderful understanding of what a running back should do. On that particular play, it looked like he was going to come up a little bit short of the first down, and he reached the ball out for that extra yard.
He already has a career high 72 yards in this half. 13 carries for 72. First and 10 from the 12. Rhett dragging the pile with him to the 6. Nothing fancy about this, nothing deceptive. Here we come, try to stop us.
Coming right up the middle. I mean, they're just getting a nice push here, and he's just following right behind it. Look at the center and guard. See that push? They allow no penetration. They give him bubbles to run to. He's got 3 yards before he ever hits a pile-up. That's a great job by the line.
A lot of good blocks, including Eccles. Rhett again inside the 5 to the goal line. Hey, you look over at Sam Weiss with all those plays on that chart. He's only calling one. It's the only one he needs.
Doesn't need anything else.
They go to the hurry-up.
This is a little bit of a sugar huddle. Sugar means they're going to sweeten things by staying close. I think you have to reward the offensive line, and you have to reward Rhett by giving him a shot at a touchdown right here.
He and McDowell are the backs. First and goal. Same play. This time stopped short. Shane Bonham, number 96. Kelvin Pritchett, number 94, made the tackle. That one may have been designed to go outside a little bit.
Well, now, all of a sudden, the Detroit Lions really have run out of room to defend, so they've got more people at the line of scrimmage. I still think you still try and pound this in again.
Trying to catch the Lions with an extra player on the field, force them to take a timeout. That's what I mean about the intelligence of the way Sam Weiss manages personnel and the clock. I think he's a master at it. We've got a timeout with 2:52 to go in the first half. Back in a moment.
Trophy, trophy, trophy Nissan.
Hi, folks. Jerry Adams at the Trophy Nissan Used Car Center. And winter's on the way. And we've got to reduce our overstocked inventory. Every used car, truck, and van will be liquidated or they go to auction. For example, the 92 Spirit, $139 a month. The 92 Corsica, $149 a month. Plus, you'll find a great selection of low-mileage Wise Buys, Sentras, Altimas, and Quests. The best time to buy is now.
Oh, I'd give anything if I could have that one back. Many of us have lived our lives like that, things that have happened that we wish we could take back. Some of us even live with that haunting longing that only some moment could be lived over again, like that golf shot, wishing we could have it back. The good news is that even though we can't have everything back, we can start again. It's never
Cray, Mayberry, Beckles, and Dill, and the tight ends who were in there, Armstrong and Moore and Errict Rhett.
There's the rush chart. This number has not changed since the last time I saw you. That's where they're running the football, right up the middle. 14 carries, 86 yards, right up the middle.
Second and goal from the 1. Now they've got 3 tight ends in there as Bishop checks in. McDowell, he fumbled. No signal yet. They got it back.
It doesn't matter.
Oh.
That fumble is caused by Craig Erickson not paying attention to details. If you're the quarterback and you're this close to scoring, you've got to make sure it gets on the belly. Watch this. He does not get that ball. He doesn't follow it all the way through. See how he starts to pull away at the end? He brings it back with him a little bit. Here's it from the reverse angle. Right, no. Yep. It's also the running back didn't give him a good pocket. So it's both their faults.
Workman comes in third and goal. Erickson with a half roll under pressure, throws incomplete. Copeland got a hand on it, but Benny Blades knocked him down.
Erickson on the sprint out. Does a good job of stretching the pocket. Now, Copeland sits down. That's just a nice job of Blades. They're not going to call it down there. It's within 5 yards. You're allowed to make contact. So what if you're in the end zone?
So after having 1st and goal at the 1, they send on the field goal team. And now the Bucs have a timeout. They may want to talk about this decision, leading 3-0 and facing 4th and 2. He's used the timeout to change his mind. 4th and goal from the 2. The Bucs will go. Rhett on the draw. No way. Broderick Thomas, the former Buck, makes a second big play in this game. You know he's loving it.
Boy, I'm speechless.
1:56 to go in the half. Back in a moment. In that sequence.
I really do, Mike. The first play, for example, it's 1st and 10. There is Errict Rhett, number 32, is the blocking back. McDowell is the running back. Rhett has carried the ball all the way down here. McDowell hasn't. You don't give it to the guy that's hot. I don't understand that. Now you try and run a draw when you've got both outside backers pinching and you've got nobody to block the outside guy. I don't understand that.
So they fail after 1st and goal from the 1. Derrick Moore is in as a running back trying to get some breathing room for the Lions, and he gets it out to about the 5-yard line.
Now here's something else I don't understand. I realize that you don't use Barry Sanders in a goal line situation because you don't want to get him pounded on. But when you're coming out from your own end and you've got the entire defense up around the ball, if he gets a crack, he's going to have a 95-yard touchdown.
The question is, who's the one back in the whole world you'd want to have the ball?
If you were coaching,
Barry Sanders.
If I was coaching, Barry Sanders. Wayne evidently doesn't want to put him into that situation.
He's got him in there now. Ty Halleck checks in as the second tight end. Clock running, 1:18 to go in the half. Sanders. Oh, took a shot that time, but got it up to the 15-yard line. It should be a first down, but the official wants to spot it back at the 14. John Lynch hits him, and it's a first down nonetheless. Lions wasting an awful lot of time here. They may be content to go in down 3-0.
I think it would be the right move. I think what they do is pound it on the ground, try and pick up the first down, go in and regroup.
So Barry will get the call again. Nowhere to go. He's swarmed under at the 14-yard line. And the fans letting the Lions' offensive decision hear it from the stands. Either team can stop the clock. Neither one is going to do it.
It doesn't matter now. David Krieg would like to run a play, but he's got every one of his teammates off the bench walking in. So obviously Wayne Fontes has decided he doesn't want to run the football anymore or any more plays.
That's the end of the first half in Pontiac. The Bucs lead the Lions 3-0. Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. And they are probably not going to knock you right out of your chair, Joe.
Well, I think this one here is telltale. 4 first downs. Time of possession is the other one for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They should have gotten more than 3 points. On this side, goal to go. You see the Bucs have had 2 opportunities. They've gotten 3 points. Third down conversions have been about the same. Penalties have made a difference over here for the Lions. They've committed, and the turnovers as well, or sacks, I should say.
What's unusual, those 2 goal-to-goal situations coming out with only 3 points. The Bucs have been very good at that coming in. 5 first-and-goal series. They get 4 touchdowns out of it. But tonight they have failed, and Mel Gray would like to make something big happen at the start of the second half. The all-time leader in kickoff return yards. Just absolutely brilliant. Husted. Line drives it. And return to the 35-yard line. Loose ball goes out of bounds. And the Lions will maintain possession. Let's check in with Mark Malone.
Well, Mike, as we look over the first half, Hardy Nickerson, our spotlight player of the game, it hasn't been his game so far. He's pretty much been a non-factor. As we look at the video, one of the things that's happening here is the Culpepper, the nose tackle, isn't creating a double team, and you can see there that Doug Weidel comes off and blocks Hardy again right there. Glover comes off the double team, blocks Hardy on the over pursuit. It just hasn't been their night. I talked to him, they're going to make some changes, and I'll have that right after this play.
All right, Mark, and that's a great job when you keep Hardy Nickerson out of the way. There was a flag down on the kickoff return, holding against Detroit, and moves it back to the 17-yard line. They'll go with the two tight ends to start the third quarter, Hall and Halleck. Sanders is the single setback, and he'll get the call. Barry Sanders picks up 9, nearly 10. Back to Mark Malone. Mark?
Well, Mike, as we look at the first half numbers, keep in mind that Nickerson smashed the Buccaneers' season tackling record last year of 2.